Hey guys, so this is gonna be a weird video. It's kind of gonna be me talking, but while I'm talking, I'm gonna be working on this setup for my potential 2019 planner. And I've been talking about it a lot on IG and IGTV. I'm committed to using a Stalogy, or at least Stalogy. I'm committed to at least trying it out for 2019. I'm not a bullet journaler, I'm not artistic, I have horrible handwriting, and I can't draw. So a lot of my setup is gonna require me to use other stuff. So if you are interested, you can hop on over to IGTV, and on IGTV, I'll have my IG name listed below, but it's shespentopaper, all one, no anything else, just shespentopaper. And I talk about some of the tools that I'm using to set this up, and this is one of them, which is that Dynamo embossing label maker. And I'm gonna be making some of these week of headings that are going on my pages because my handwriting is again atrocious. So while I'm making these, I just wanna talk to you all. So this may be a boring video. You may wanna click off. If you wanna watch, just kind of hear my thoughts. It's not gonna be a lot going on down here that's that interesting, because literally I'm going to be keying in week of over and over and over and over again. But I do wanna talk. And my topic is, and I'll address it from me. I'm trying to figure out if I'm really a planner. I think I am more of a scheduler than a planner. And I kind of wanted to talk about some of the differences. If I'm planning, if I'm letting things plan me, if I'm a scheduler, what exactly it is that I am, and how knowing that has helped me and will continue to help me figure out my planning process going into the future, or whatever we want to call it, maybe my scheduling process. It depends on if I consider myself a scheduler or a planner. And I just thought about it. This clicking sound may be annoying, and if it is, I truly apologize. But that's what I'm here doing, is turning and clicking. So just as some backstory about how I even started planning, I have a job that I schedule myself. So I work every day, but a lot of my work is done from home, and there's only so many times and so many days that I have to go out to do what I do. And that is facilitate professional developments and trainings and things like that. And since I schedule myself, I need to know when I'm available, when I'm not available, and make sure that I don't double book. One of the funny things is actually that I do this for one of the top 2 technology companies. So it's always expected that I would kind of use my app on my phone, a digital calendar or something like that. And I don't like those. I think they're awesome. Let me rephrase. For what I need, I don't think I need them as much, or that they work as much for me. One of the reasons is I am always letting my cell phone battery die. Like, just consistently. My battery's normally always dead. And that's not good for me when I need to know where I'm supposed to be, when I'm supposed to be there. Or if I'm talking to somebody new and they're asking me to come and I can't tell them when I'm available because my battery's dead. So when I started this job, I kind of got into what I would consider planning, and I went out and I went to the Louis Vuitton store and I bought a PM agenda in the damier print. And when I tell you that thing served me well for a good year, like, I was on top of it. And then I started to watch setup videos and things like that. And I was like, these rings are so small, because I saw what everybody else was doing, and I started wanting to put more stuff into mine. Not specifically stuff I really needed, just it seemed like the cool thing to do was to have a lot of stuff in there. And I like the shape of full bulging kind of rounded planners. I'm weird. I like certain shapes. There's certain shapes I don't like. And that rounded domed shape is one of my favorite shapes. So I realized I was not gonna get that with that PM Louis Vuitton agenda. If anybody's familiar with it, you know those rings are ridiculously small. And that's before I heard anybody kind of talk about how to change the rings on that. So I put that to the side. I didn't use anything for a while. And somehow or another, I got started with Traveler's notebooks. Okay, I was into Joann Fabrics. and they had a traveler's notebook. And I'm trying to think of the company. It was one of the first ones, Webster's Pages. It was a Webster's Pages traveler's notebook. And I bought it and I was like, oh my goodness. I went down the rabbit hole so hard on that after I bought that one, I used it for like a week. And then I was like, oh, I need real leather. So I went on the search for a real leather one. And I think I ended up with Chic Sparrow first. Yeah, I ended up with Chic Sparrow. So I bought a lot of Chic Sparrow ones and I started still scheduling. So this is where it comes into, am I scheduling or am I planning? I'm single, I have no children, I'm an only child, and me and my mom live like maybe 5 minutes away from each other, and I'm an introvert that deals with some anxiety issues, so I don't go out or socialize a lot. So what I found myself doing was I was using it primarily for scheduling, i.e., I would book someone, I would be on the phone with someone, I would write down when I need to see them, what dates they want me to come out to them, and I would be keeping track of meetings and different things, due dates. So it was pretty much me just scheduling the things that I had, and I would keep that all in my traveler's notebook. But then, of course, I wanted more books because I like that full round shape. So I started putting in, and I should have kept one set up. I don't think I have a traveler's notebook set up anymore. But I had a general notes, which is like a brain dump notes section list in the front because everybody seemed to have lists. I also don't cook. So meal planning and grocery shopping wasn't a thing for me, but I did one because it seemed like the thing to do. So I had a list section in the front. That was my first book. And then I had a work kind of book, which was where I scheduled all my work stuff. Then I had a weekly book. And I think I tried to fit my Bible study notes and then just the general notes and finance. So those are my sections. And yet and still, I found myself using it primarily for scheduling more than planning, because when I think of planning, I think of individuals who like have stuff that they need to plan ahead for. And I was never looking in there, writing down something that I needed to do that was not work. That was not me being on a call or me being at a meeting and just seeing if I was going to be available for a certain day to do something. And that's the difference to me between planning and scheduling. I am totally just responsive. I look at a date you tell me, I see if I'm available, I put it down. That's it. But I want to be a planner, but I'm not. What's the opposite of responsive? I just went on a plain brain blank. I don't plan to do things in advance. So instead of responsive, I am, please drop the word. I don't know what's going on with me. I think I've sat here and hidden the same thing to this little situation too long that the rest of my words are going blank. But I've never sat there and figured out a day that's going to be laundry day. And I've never sat there and planned out the day that I'm going to clean my kitchen, and then another day I'm going to do something else. And to me, that's planning, is when you have so much to do that not only do you have to keep track of the schedule that you have, you're planning out when you can fit in the things that you want and or need to do. What do you all think about that? That's kind of the general question that I'm asking is, do you see a difference between planning and scheduling? Do you think you're a responsive scheduler or a proactive, there we go, or a proactive planner? And if you are one or the other, what are some of the pros and cons? And how do you switch from one to the other? I can tell you, for me, part of the reason I really wanted to try this notebook is because it reminds me, of course, of my traveler's notebooks, which I really liked. And in 2019, I am really pushing myself and challenging myself to go from a responsive scheduler to a proactive planner. That means I am going to do goals, because I've never made goals for myself. I am 37 years old and I've never been a goals person. I kind of just live each day, not by the seat of my pants, but live it and just kind of accomplish whatever I feel I'm supposed to accomplish, but never setting goals. So in my family, it's expected. You go to school, did that. Go to college, did that. Graduate, did that. Get a master's degree, did that. Get a job, did that. Do great at your job, I'm going to toot my own horn for a second, toot, toot, did that. Do a different job, get promoted, all of that. I just do it because it's the thing to do. But I've never had like a 5-year plan for my life or a 10-year plan for my life or goals that I want to accomplish this year. So that is what I really want to do for 2019. I want to be more proactive. And I'm sorry, you're probably gonna hear my dog bark in a second. There's some noise going on in the hallway and he always wants to feel involved in things like that. So, and I jump around. I apologize if there has not been a consistent and coherent thought. I'm trying, but there's so much stuff that's just coming to mind while I'm talking to you all. This is very therapeutic, by the way. So the difference between proactive planning and reactive scheduling is really what's on my mind going into 2019. And I'm gonna stop for a moment, and I guess this wasn't planned. This is my old pocket planner from like 2018. And this is when I first started thinking that I wanted to do some goals. So just as a quick idea of how I normally have things set up, I'll have a month, check off the days as they went by, because I can never remember what day of the week it is. I had some important dates. I definitely did the list. And this was because this is what it seemed like planners were supposed to have. But as you can see, I don't have a lot of lists in here because I didn't know what to list. I did do some goals because I wanted to try it, and it was lose 30 pounds, get closer to God, develop a second stream of income. And I love the way in this free printable, I can never remember who it's from. If it's the planner spot, maybe I'll definitely drop it down below. I came up with some tasks, a daily schedule. And what's funny to me is I am also a life coaching consultant. And this is what I work my clients through all the time, is kind of backwards by design thinking. So as I help other people develop goals, never develop them for myself. Okay. I definitely kept a calendar, and it was monthly, and it was a little bitty baby. There it goes. Month on one page. Once again, you will not see a lot in here. It was really training at my church, church meeting, a holiday, an election day, my dad's birthday, the days I worked in Promised Land at my church, one of my old boss's birthdays, the fact I was off work, Thanksgiving, my cousin coming home, and a payday. That's all that ever went into those monthlies. And then I did do my weeks. And my weeks were pretty important because it was just a reminder of events that I had to do, and I could put some more detail in there. And I tried planning something this week. I decided I needed to mail something to somebody, and I picked a day of the week, and I said, this is the day I was going to do it. So that was interesting. The rest of this is pretty much just work stuff. Different calls at a virtual training, a funeral training. So pretty much, again, totally responsive, just things that I had to do, and making sure I could look at my week and see what I was doing that week, not for any other purpose than just knowing what I was doing that week. And then this is really the meat of it all for me, which is my work insert. And I'm gonna do an IGTV video on how I use this. So this is what I really needed. This is like the main thing I use my planner for in budgeting. So I do use it for budgeting. That's my other thing. But I am an impulse spender, so normally it ended up being reactionary budgeting as well. Oh, darn it, I spent too much. Let me write down what I spent. Listed my bills, a spending tracker, which I have to get back into. I missed out on this at the end of this year because, hey, it was Christmas and I just spent money. An order tracker, and then I just had some notes pages in the back that I never used. So this is me when I was a planner, or what I thought was a planner, but I realized I was really more of just a scheduler. And this is me setting myself up to try and be more proactive this coming year with figuring out goals, figuring out plans, outlining steps to accomplish them, and then putting it on paper so that I can actually get it done, instead of just figuring I will do it whenever, which I think is a struggle. and help me. It may not be for other people, but for me, it's a struggle for people who may or may not work from home. And have a lot of flexibility in their work schedule, because you feel like I can just do things when I get around to them and when I feel like it, because I'm not locked in to a set schedule or set time that things have to be done. And that's just kind of it for me. So my goal this year, help me stay accountable, is I want to be a planner and not a scheduler. Yeah, so that is it for this video. I just felt like getting on here and talking to you all for apparently way too long. I didn't think it was going to be 15 minutes, but it turns out it's 15 minutes. Please share your thoughts down below in the comment section. I want to hear from you all what your thoughts are about this. Talk to me, help me, give me some suggestions and ideas for what has worked for you. What kind of planner do you think you are? Proactive or reactionary? Let me know. And I will have some other videos coming up soon. And I thank you all, because this is different, because I wasn't actually showing you anything. And whatever you're looking at on the screen was probably boring. And this probably would have been a better podcast, but I don't podcast. But thanks, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.